You're live, people. We are live. I'm so excited that you are here. Let me just quickly let me start my recording so that we have our recording, and then let me say a word of prayer because we need it. Y'all, I'm so nervous. I don't even know why. Okay. Lord God, we just come before you first and foremost just to say thank you, God. I honor you. I honor you for who you are, God. I honor you for who you are in my life, God. I honor you for the mission, the mantle, and the mandate that you have given me to take millions to the world, God. I thank you for everyone who is currently here with me as we live reveal this rebrand that we've been undergoing over the last year, as well as those who will catch this in the replay. God, we just praise your name. You are so worthy. And we thank you that because we are created in your image and likeness, we are worthy too. God, use me mightily for your glory and for your good. As always, I give you full access and permission to have your way. You said wherever two or more are gathered, there you would be in the midst. And so we invite you in. We give you full access, full reign, and full permission to usurp the agenda if you must. God, I yield to you. I surrender to you. I love you. I honor you. I thank you. And I praise you. It is in the mighty matchless name of your son that I pray these and all things. In Jesus' name, amen. Hello. Happy Thursday, as I like to call it, happy Trust Your Talent Thursday. I am so excited you guys are here with me to unveil this brand. We call it a rebrand, but it's really a refresh, but we're going to get into all of that. I'm so excited. I can't even get myself together. That's how excited I am because we've been working on this since last February, y'all, like almost an entire year. Now I'm going to be honest, right? I literally woke up one day and was like, I think I have to kill my purple lady. And for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know exactly what I'm referring to. In fact, she's white on here, but like my little purple lady that's down here. I woke up one day and was like, I got to kill the purple lady. And yes, kill, drastic, had to get rid of her, like no more, only to be remembered, not to be part of the journey anymore. And it freaks me out, but I also grossly underestimated how long it would take and how deep we would go in order to actually present to you a brand that I am so excited about. Like, I'm beside myself with excitement because God chose me to do this work at this level with you amazing people. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. So anyway, for those of you who do not know who I am, or this is one of your earliest exposures to me, I am Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. I am the award-winning CEO of a company called Incredible One Enterprises. More than 14 years ago, I went to sleep on September the 30th, 2007, really pleading with God to show me what it was that he had next for me. I was finishing up my second pink Cadillac and I was not happy. I was not elated. It was work. It was hustle. And I didn't like the way that it made me feel. And I simply, as I was going off to sleep, I said, God, would you show me what it is that you have next for me? Would you show me the work that you would have me to do to be the impact you created my life for? Now, if you know anything about my journey and anything about my story, I'm very transparent about what I've been through. Born to drug addicted parents in the projects. I done been there, done that, seen it all. There is no reason why, except for God, that I get to be this millionaire woman sitting before you right now. Only God. And so I went to bed on September the 30th, having that prayer. And in my dream, I saw myself walking into a building that had a marquee that read Incredible One Enterprises. I didn't know what an Incredible One Enterprise was. I woke up the next morning, I grabbed my journal, and the first thing I wrote, I actually still have the journal. I probably should pull that for this. And I wrote, what is Incredible One Enterprises? And I sat. I love to active journal. And so I sat until God spoke. And he said, I want you to create a business doing what I brought you here to do. Now, when I was 10 years old, I learned that my purpose, my mission is about words. I am a beast when it comes to words and using words that get people to take the right action. And so as I heard him say that, I started the first iteration of Incredible One Enterprises. We were not the best at that particular point in time, but we showed up consistently. And here we are some 14 years later now. I do still pinch myself sometimes. In 2007, I was on the brink of bankruptcy. and so confused about how to build a business from the ground up. I had just finished with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and Mary Kay is a proven business model because someone else did the work to figure out how to make the model sustainable. Right here I wanted to start something completely new that no one had ever done before, or at least I thought in my own little microcosmic world, there wasn't anybody else endeavoring to do what it is that I was endeavoring to do in the world. And I had no clue what I was doing. I struggled massively. I burned through a couple $100,000 that I had in my 401k and left over from my corporate career where I had been extremely successful. I blew through that money so fast because when you live at a certain lifestyle, especially if there's not new money coming in, like it doesn't stop, right? And I found myself in 2008 having to go back to work, filing bankruptcy, and I went back to work because I didn't want to live in my car. The problem that I had as I first started this company is I didn't know how to do it without hustling and grinding. Like I felt when I was in Mary Kay, I didn't like that hustle. I didn't want to continue to hustle, but I didn't know what to do. And the money ran out and the strategies weren't working. No one knew that I existed. It was a mess, a hot mess. And so in order to avoid living in my car and to have my basic needs met, I went back to work. Many of you know this story. We talk about this as ramen noodles in a dream, right? I ate ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly for 18 months straight. And I went back to work and I humbled myself and I figured out what I didn't know about having my own company so that when I walked out of that job on December the 17th, 2010, I would never have to work for anyone again. Can I get an amen or a 1 in the chat if you can feel me? I have chills right now as I'm recounting the story, and I tell this story all the time, y'all. But I said I will never work for anyone else again, y'all. January 1st, 2011 was the rebirth, the renaissance of Incredible One Enterprises. I was full-time again in this business, and I was fully committed to do whatever it takes. I love that John Assaraf quote. He says, when you're interested, you do what's convenient, but when you're committed, you do whatever it takes. Do I have some people with me who's going to do whatever it takes? If you're going to do whatever it takes, put a 2 in the chat. And so I made a decision right then, January 1st, 2011, that was who I was going to be. And I went to work. I didn't hustle. I didn't grind, but I went to work and I knew what I knew and I worked it and I perfected it. The most important thing, even before, I'm going to share lots of success clues with you. But one of the most important things that I think makes me who I am and contributes to my ability to be as successful as I am today is consistency. If you are with me, put consistency in the chat. When I decided to come back into this business full time and made that vow that I would never work for anyone else again, I did not know that 11 years later, not only would I not be working for anyone else, but I would have 6 additional employees and full-time employees, y'all, in my own company. There are 7 full-time employees at Incredible One Enterprises today. Y'all, listen. I'm chilled. I'm gonna try my best not to cry, but I'm gonna give myself permission to cry if I do. I cannot believe it. And this past year, 2021, this was supposed to be the year that we just reset, that we recalibrated, that we focused on the rebrand and getting our messaging and our positioning right. We were not supposed to do anything amazing this past year, but this year we had a 208% growth and had our first multi-million-dollar year in 5 years. Some of y'all know the story. So 2014, I became a $1 million business overnight. It was not planned for. It happened by accident. I had my live event. We did extremely well. We brought on a whole bunch of clients and generated $1.3 million in cash in 3 days. I went on that year to pay almost $400,000 in taxes. I was not happy, not proud. It was everything Biggie said it would be. It was more money. It was more problems. The next year, because of the momentum of what we had done, we did have a $2 million year. But almost immediately after that, I killed my business. I called it a monster. I had to kill the monster. I killed the monster. I didn't want millions that way. I'm not even supposed to be, and I have a script in front of me. I'm not even supposed to be there yet, but let me just sidebar and say this. Like, as we go through this rebrand and I share our mission and what we're up to and what we're doing, it is all because of what happened to me in 2015 and 2016. I did millions the hard way. I did millions in a way that didn't honor who I was, that didn't allow the God in my life to be first. I was chasing the number, and the number was my validation. And it almost ruined me. And I was willing to give it all up. Most of you don't even know this because I haven't shared it publicly, but I was willing to give it all up. I fired hundreds of clients. I decided to fire almost all of my team and go back to being a small little business making a couple $100,000 a year. We did like $500,000 in 2017, 2018, then 2019, we started to ramp back up. I didn't want millions if it was going to be done that way. Can I get a witness in the chat? Is there anybody out there who wants millions, but they want it in a way that serves and supports them for all that they were created to be? If that's you, put a 3 in the chat. I didn't want it that way, and I was willing to walk away from it. Because if I'm going to do it, I need to do it in a way where God gets the glory and I get the peace. That could be a t-shirt. Somebody write that down on the team, write that down. God gets the glory, I get the peace. That is what it was about for me. I'm like, I am not doing this if it's not going to serve me. It took me 3 years, y'all, to figure out how to do it. And I'll be honest, it was many of my clients at the time who gave me the courage, put courage in the chat, gave me the courage to step back into having a $1 million company because I stopped chasing the number. I didn't care about millions. All I wanted to do was to be impact. All I wanted to do was to have a nice living. That's all I cared about. I did not need millions of dollars, but God pulled me by my coattails and told me that living beneath the desire that he has for me is almost like saying, God, you didn't need to create me. And as there's one thing that I want, and one thing I care about is that God gets the glory. That's the only outcome I'm attached to. And so I humbled myself, I surrendered in the process, and I went back in, but I decided that doing it this time, I was going to do it different. That's why this means so much to me. Because I didn't think I would get here again. I didn't care if I got here again. It wasn't that important to me. I just wanted to do work and live well. That was it. But I think that it is absolutely incredible, pun intended, to be here, to be living well and doing work that impacts, and to be making boatloads of money, which is why I now say, and I used to not believe this, but it's why I now say, you do not have to choose. You can love God and make boatloads of money. Y'all, you do not have to choose. Some of you have been choosing. I used to choose, but I realized I don't have to. And today, as we launch this rebrand that we've been working on over the course of this last year, that is my mantle to you. You do not have to choose. You can love God and make and move millions, period, point blank. If you are with me, put a 5 in the chat. Now, many of you asked questions inside of our Move to Millions Facebook group. So I'm going to answer some questions, share some of the success clues based on what we learned over this last year. If you happen to have a question, because I definitely want to leave some time for Q&A. For those of you who are with me on Zoom, there is a Q&A box for you to put your question in. For those of you who are with me on Facebook, put it in the chat. Put #question before your question so that my team who is in the chat will catch your question and write it down for us so that I will have an opportunity to answer it. All right, so here's our agenda. So I'm going to talk about our big vision and the reason why we went through this whole rebranding process, what the process entailed, and what you should consider if you decide, should you do a rebrand for your company. We're going to talk a little bit about my forthcoming book and our docu-series. I will reveal the brand and our websites. We have 2 new websites going forward, because one of the things you have to realize is as a CEO, there is a split that occurs. There is the leading of your company, right? And then there's the thought leadership of who you are as an individual contributor to the world. And so as a result of our rebrand, we realized I had never had a separate website in my own name, but we're now launching a brand new website. I'm not going to tell y'all the URL yet because I don't need y'all to be trying to go there, even though I don't think it's live yet. But we decided to build a website based on me, the CEO of this company, the author, the speaker, the person who is leading this amazing team that is serving the amazing clients that we get to work with every single day. So we're going to talk about that. I have a late breaking announcement with you to share how you can all celebrate with us as we launch this rebrand. And then, like I said, I want to take some questions as well. All right. So many of you have heard me share this before. On October the 22nd of 2020, we were at our Breakthrough in Business Live event, our final Breakthrough in Business Live event. When we started that event, we had no idea it was the last time we were doing it. But I woke up in the morning of day 3 with God sitting in my spirit. If you've ever woke up with God sitting in your spirit, put a 6 in the chat. And so I woke up with God sitting in my spirit. He always does this on the 3rd day. I don't know if that's because that's the day he rose. I don't know. I won't go too deep on you. But anyway, so I woke up with him in my spirit and I just said, what is it, God? And he said 3 words: move to millions. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When he first said it, I got chills all over my body, just like I have right now. And then almost immediately after that, I had what I call a Moses moment. And you've probably experienced this too. I immediately started to talk myself out of being the one that should be chosen to deliver the people. Can anybody relate? If you can relate, put a 7 in the chat. Instantly, like move to millions. Ooh. And then immediately after that, like, nah, not me, God. No, don't send me, send somebody else. Where's Aaron? Isn't Aaron available for this? Like, why do you need to send me? Right? And so I was confused and I didn't think I should be, I might cry. I didn't think I should be the one who should lead this because I did millions those 2 years and then I hadn't been focused on it. And how am I going to teach other people how to make millions? And what God shared with me was that all of that time, it's like the footprints. You guys remember the footprints quote? And it's like on the times when you only saw one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. It was like a footprints moment. And God said, no, boo, you are called to this. This is what I have for you to do. And you've been doing it all along. Because although I wasn't focused on having my own $1 million company, I was silently creating $1 million businesses every single year since we crossed millions the first time. But God had to bring that to my remembrance. How many times have you done something really amazing and incredible, but you forgot about it because you thought it was a fluke or it really wasn't meant for you or you weren't really worth it? And so you discounted and dismissed and downplayed your ability to be able to do it again. If that's you, put an 8 in the chat. Because that's where I sat at that time. I was really frustrated. And I was like, there's no way I can do this. I was feeling like a fraud before I'd ever started this process. But the thing is, even in the years when I wasn't doing millions, I already knew how to do it. See, the part of the reason why in 2020 we can have $1 million year, in 2022 we can have a $2 million, or 2021 we can have a $2 million year, is because I already knew how to do it. And the fact that I had made a decision myself because my business was not set up in a way to support me at the $1 million level didn't mean I didn't know how to produce it. Right? And so a big part of what we are going to do now is to help people prepare the infrastructure of their business to support it at the $1 million level. But I'll share more about that in a second. And so after I had this Moses moment and tried to downplay and dismiss, and God brought me back, I realized that I needed to step in. And those of you who were at that final breakthrough in business may remember me getting on the stage on day 3 and saying, move to millions. That's where we're going. I didn't know what it looked like yet. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know. I thought the purple lady was still part of it. I had already submitted a thing to my designer to add the purple lady to the move to millions. I had done all the things because I didn't think anything needed to change. Write this down. To get to your next level, you have to be willing to abandon everything. And so on February, I can't remember the exact date, but in February, it was a Saturday. I do remember that. I think it was like the first Saturday in February last year. I woke up to the startling realization that I had to kill the purple lady. Y'all, listen to me. Like, I could show you, I probably should have put that in my little presentation because I have a small presentation to show you like the new brand. I probably should have put all the old logos. Every logo had the purple lady on it. I have a whole bunch of amazing friends who are doing extremely well in their own businesses, and none of them. One friend tried to tell me about my purple lady. I don't recall, but maybe I just wouldn't hear it because I loved my purple lady. But after I realized I needed to kill the purple lady and I started telling everybody, they were like, girl, we've been waiting. It's like the boyfriend you used to have that everybody else knows he's no good except for you. And when you finally cut him loose, your friends are like, girl, it took you forever. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Put a 9 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Like, it was that kind of moment. But I realized that I had to kill the purple lady in order to take the stand to the higher call and the deeper work that God was calling me and my team to. And that in order to really be that in the marketplace, we had to up level every single thing. Here's how it really started for me. We had a new client come into our program. I don't know if she's here. Let me just be nosy real quick and see if she's here. No, she's not here. So we had a new client come into our program. Amazing client, by the way, like so in awe that she wanted to work with me. And she got her welcome gift in the mail. So we have a service delivery standard that within 48 hours after you enroll in our program, your welcome gift is coming to you. And she got her welcome gift in the mail. And then she did a video or sent an email and was like, oh my gosh, I'm blown away by this. I had no idea I would get anything like this. And that was a problem for me, because I want people to know that when they invested in themselves at the level that we play, that's what they should expect. But she didn't expect it. I mean, it's okay to have a nice surprise, but I don't want you to expect a rinky-dink experience because you're looking at the purple lady, right? And so that was kind of what started this process for me. I was like, okay, no, this cannot be the way that things happen. I done dropped my script, y'all. This cannot be the way that things happen. So immediately I said to myself, that's not good. I want our clients to expect the excellence that we are known for. Now, if you've worked with us, then you already know how we get down. But if you've never had an opportunity to work with us, listen to me. And clients, sound off in the chat if you agree. You ain't never, ever, ever experienced what we throw down at Incredible One Enterprises and Incredible Factor University. We will literally change your whole life experience if you let us. You think you coming to us to work on your business? But boo-boo, we're going to change transform your whole entire life. That's how we roll. That's how we rock. And so the fact that a new client didn't know that, they hadn't grasped that about us, said we had work to do. And so that is what started it. That's the whole thing that got us down this path. I called only one branding company, just one. I know that there are boatloads out there, but I called one. I did not even entertain the feasibility that there would be anybody else for me to work with. Just one. That was it. And I prayed that they would work with me, because they don't work with everyone. And I prayed that they would say, yes, we will work with your brand, Darnyelle, because I did not have a plan B. Everything about this company that I saw for other brands that they had done were so well executed and were the visual impression that I wanted to stand behind how we showed up in the marketplace. Now, the process itself, it was long, it was very in-depth, it was deep, it was introspective. I was challenged and stretched in ways that I hadn't ever considered before. Listen, when I started the company back in 2007, I created a logo. I really should have done it. I'm gonna do I'll do a carousel or something later with like the very first IOE logo, then the second one. I'll do something like that later. Maria, write that down because we should do that. But I had never gone through the branding process. I came up with a tagline. I picked the color purple because it's my favorite, and I was off to the races. And that was it. Like, that was the whole branding process. And we refined it over time as we put it out there. If it didn't stick, we changed it. But there was never any dedicated time and process to get clear about the most important components of what we wanted to accomplish. Now, one of the sessions with our brand strategists, and then talking with my team, shout out to Team Incredible One. I have a ridiculous and amazing team that I get to work with every single day, both employees and then contractors on our team who help us expand our brand and get our mission out into the world. I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful to be your leader and to have you all helping me do what it is that God called for me to do. And so out of one of the sessions, we kind of started this conversation around realizing that we have two ideal clients, that we don't just have one. Going into it, I thought we only had one ideal client. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our two ideal clients. And then when you see yourself, I want you to put that in the chat. So our first ideal client is six-figure Sarah or Sam, because we are equal opportunity here. We do not work with just women. We will happily work with men. Now, our clients are probably 90% women, just because people typically want to work with people who look like you, but we do not discriminate. Now, six-figure Sarah or Sam, they have a low six-figure business, or they are so close that they can taste it. And they really want to be able to pay themselves six figures, right? Because you guys know that making six figures in your business is not paying yourself six figures, unless you're ignoring everything else that has to happen, and you're gonna have bigger issues because you need to pay self-employment. Anyway. And these six-figure Sarahs and Sams, they really want to have a business that's a solid multiple six figures. They want to be doing $300,000 to $400,000 a year. They don't mind performing the service and working closely with their clients. They just want the right systems and strategies so that they can do it with grace and ease instead of hustle and grind. So that's six-figure Sarah or Sam. I'm going to tell you our other one, and then you tell me which one you think you are. Now, our second ideal client is millions-minded Madison or Matthew. Now, they have millions on their mind, period, point blank. No matter where they sit right now in the six-figure continuum, they want millions. They have not been successful on their own of figuring out how to get there without the hustle and without the grind. Their low six-figure business will not allow them to establish the wealth and legacy that they crave. And they don't just want to be a CEO on their business card. They actually want to be a CEO that has a team, right? See, I believe that when you're at six figures, you will, like, your clients are hiring you, but when you're building $1 million company, your clients are hiring your company, right? These millions-minded Madisons and Matthews, they want to strategically preside over their business's infrastructure. They want to create a team that creates an experience for their clients. And let's be clear, they also want to be a millionaire, because it is not the same. Being a $1 million CEO does not make you a millionaire. In order to be considered a millionaire, you need to have $1 million in cash and assets. So if you brought in $1 million in your business, but you spent $650,000 to run it, you're only a $350,000 right? Get the point? So which ideal client do you most identify with? Put it in the chat. I see some people are putting it in now. Now, I want to talk about, so once we realized we had these two different ideal clients, we also had to realize that we needed to create a clear path and offer for each of our ideal clients, right? Because we know that not everyone is millions minded. So when I first created our first program, Leverage and Scale Weekend, my thought was people will come to Leverage and Scale Weekend and then they'll upgrade into the mastermind. And we've had some people who've done that. I see Angela Miles is sitting right on my screen. Shout out to, I called you yesterday. Shout out to Angela and Victor Miles. I called you yesterday. But anyway, you're on my spirit really heavy, and just seeing your name again just brought it up. So make sure you call me back. Anywho, we have some people, they come into the weekend, they get what they need, and then they come right into the mastermind. But we also realize that not everybody wants millions. And it could be because they think that millions is going to be more work when it doesn't necessarily have to be. Okay. It could be. So it could be just a limiting belief, but it could also be that they literally are not, that's not their goal. And we wanted to make sure we had an environment that was inclusive for whoever wanted to be served for us that is at the six-figure mark. Like, those are our peeps. And so as we realized that, we decided to make some changes to our core offers. What I realized is, I want to share this before I get into the two programs, just so everyone has an understanding about that too. We made a very tough decision. I'm making it about me, not my team. They were ready to go, but we made a very tough decision to go all in on working with businesses at the six-figure mark. It was hard, y'all. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. This was tough, because I think everybody in your gut, and because of our limiting beliefs, they want to tell you that honing in leaves money on the table. Has anybody ever heard that or believed that for themselves? And so put a 9 in the chat. And I was the same way. I believed it too. I was like, oh, but if I do that, I'm going to miss all the people. Yeah, you're not. It's a lie, because honing in actually makes you an expert, and you get to make sure that with consistency, you are seen that way in the marketplace. I used to be like pissed off a little bit when people would say, oh, I'm not ready to work with you yet. I used to be like, no, you can work with me now. But then I'm like, I've set a standard. And people want to work to get to the standard to be served by me. That is dope. And that's what we should all aspire to. And so I realized that by honing in and tightening our messaging and our positioning and our brand presence, that we could become the only and obvious choice for our most ideal clients. And guess what? So can you. Now, the decision to take on this mantle has been amazing. There are not a lot of people in the marketplace who work with people at the six-figure mark. So it immediately allows us to stand up, right? It allows us to showcase what makes us different than those who technically are, but that doesn't necessarily make it less scary. It's still scary, but I had to focus on moving forward in spite of, as Marissa Cupane, who is a client and a member of our team, says all the time, I had to do it afraid. I had to focus on what I wanted to be known for and not my fears. And I had to also realize that none of this is about Darnyelle, none of it. It really is about helping other people make and move millions. That's what it's really about. It's about helping you get to your next level. And as you've heard me say before, it is possible that your next level isn't up, it's down. That it's about you going deeper and showing up more powerfully and focusing on transforming the lives of those that you've been called to. So our mission as we move forward, and we've had tons of iterations over the last 14, but the mission that we are putting a stake in the ground for is to transform six-figure service-based entrepreneurs into CEOs who make and move millions. And again, the reason is because you don't have to choose. You can love God and make boatloads of money. In fact, he wants you to. Because listen, can I just be clear? Like, nobody is seeking God in their struggle. And he's not in it for the struggle. He gets no glory in your struggle. You don't even praise him right when you're struggling. So he's not going to be able to have people actually come to him, come to his kingdom, if there's a whole lot of without. So those of us who have figured out the principles, the assets, and the legacy that go along with operating at that level need to be success clues for other people so that they can get the God and they can get the bag, because they don't have to choose. So how we intend to move millions and make an impact is several ways. Number one, we have a book coming out this year. I'm sure you can guess the title, Move to Millions. Working on the subtitle. Our live events, we'll be talking about our live events here shortly. Our online courses, we'll be talking about those a little bit in a while too, and our high-end coaching experiences. We know that not everyone is in a position to work with us closely, and that is okay. We're not going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. We're going to serve those that we are called to, but be available when people are ready to be at the level to be served by us. And as I stated already, you have never experienced what it is that we create at Incredible One Enterprises. So what we've done is we've created a curated, a collection of courses for those people who are not yet ready to be served directly by my team. And so available right now, we have the Business Growth Accelerator. It's a self-paced course that for those of you who are not even at six figures, will get you to six figures. And then we also have our Leverage and Scale enrollment events for those of you who want to generate six figures in 3 days or less using the power of live, hybrid, or virtual events. We have our Leverage and Scale enrollment course. And later this year, we'll be relaunching a course that I made a million years ago. In 2015, I think was the last update for Speak the Incredible, which is a course on how we recommend you use the power of speaking to grow your business. That's how I first became a six-figure company. I perfected the power of speaking, what I actually said, how I tell stories, and then I perfected the business side of speaking. And I used that to go out and get well paid doing business development speaking to get to the six-figure mark. Each of these courses are designed to get you to six figures or your next six figures. You know why? Because then you'll be eligible to come work with us in one of our programs. Our programs, we only have two. Our Leverage and Scale weekend, that is for six figures, Sarah or Sam. I chuckle because yes, I am keeping the name Leverage and Scale weekend, even though right now we have two options. We have a 12-week option and a 12-month option of support following the 3-day weekend. But that experience it culminates on 3 days where you create your most important $1 million assets. And then we support you either through one launch over 12 weeks or a full year of actually tightening those assets and getting your business to multiple 6 figures. And then we have our Move to Millions Mastermind for our Millions Minded Madison and Matthew. The mastermind is ridiculous and amazing. I'm going to post later. I'm not going to try to share it just because I think it gets wonky when you try to share video on Zoom and live. But we're going to release our latest recap from our mastermind retreat last week that happened in Cabo. It was ridiculous and amazing. And the conversations that we are having aren't being had anywhere else. And so for those of you who are millions minded and desire to be true CEOs of your company, this is the space that you need to get in. Our Leverage and Scale weekend, ideally, most people who come through it for 12 weeks intend to come into our mastermind. So they are really millions minded Madisons, but they get the foundation that is laid in our Leverage and Scale weekend program. That's like Angela and Victor Miles. That's what they did. Whereas we also have people who come straight into our mastermind. So we'll be sharing more information about all of that with you as well. Just as a quick reminder, I know my team is putting this in the chat, but if you have questions, put them in the Q&A box or #question for those of you who are live on Facebook so that I will get to some questions here shortly. Now, I have about 5 questions I think I want to answer, but before I do, I want to share, I put a post on Facebook